We've been asked this question a few times. What is the difference between solar and an inverter? And why should I get solar or why should I get an inverter? So we'll do it one more time. I was on a plane with a lady who has what she considers an inverter, but she purchased a Victron charger inverter. Now, Victron is one of the premier pieces of equipment you could buy in the off-grid world. They do command a premium, and you would not see too many of them anywhere, period. And when you do see them, they're usually high-end installations. So the question is, let's break it down. An inverter basically is a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. And what it does is, in the event that your grid power goes off, it serves as backup. So what's happening is when the grid is on, the inverter charges the batteries that you have, and once the grid goes off, the power stored in the battery goes back into the house. So it converts it from DC to AC. Your house uses AC, and the battery stop power DC direct current. Now that has worked very well. The downside to these is they're usually lightweight, temporary solutions. They're not permanent solutions. So to make them lighter, more cost effective, they usually come with smaller chargers in them. So let me give you an example of what I mean by a smaller charger. And they come with anywhere between 10, 20, and 30 amp chargers. And the assumption for building such low capacity chargers into them is that power is not going to fail for more than a certain period of time, or when power is on, is going to be on for such a long period of time that the charger is able to charge your batteries effectively. So let's use an example. You have a 3 kVA inverter that has a 30 amp charger, and you have 300 amp hours in batteries. Well, power has to be on for a minimum of 10 hours if you completely deplete those batteries in order for it to go back to full charge. So you have to have NEPA, the grid, or a generator connected for 10 hours if you discharge that battery completely. 9 out of 10 times, people do not do that. So what invariably always happens is we over discharge the battery, we don't charge them properly. And by virtue of not charging them properly, sulfates build up at the bottom of the plates. And in less than a year, we lose those batteries. Those batteries have to go through a charge cycle that takes them to 29 volts, keep them at 29 volts for about an hour, and then brings them back to whatever the float voltage that the manufacturer recommends. 29 volts is for a 24 volt battery system. Our inverters, on the other hand, do come with everything that I mentioned on your system, plus the added benefit of having an external charger that charges using the sun. So what does that mean? Well, our systems, I'll give you an example. Our 1.5 kilowatt system comes with a 60 amp charger. Our 3 kilowatt system can come with as much as a 70 or 80 amp charger. And our 6 kilowatt system, if it's a 24 volt system, can come with a 140 volt or 70 or 80 on 48 volts. So when you do the math, you take let's use the same example again. So I have a 60 amp charger on my 1.5 kilowatt or my 2 kilowatt system. And I have 300 amp hour batteries. Okay. So that would take me 5 hours to charge those batteries. So all I need for the system to run for is 5 hours. So I need NEPA or the gen to run for 5 hours in order to fully charge a completely discharged battery. So those are the major differences, and that's the reason why our systems are able to manage batteries better than what you purchase in Nigeria from, say, a Sucam, a Luminous, or one of those people. In addition to the fact that the charger is bigger, you also have an external charger, which is your charge controller. And depending on the panels you have on your roof, your charge controller could produce anywhere from 10 all the way to 80 amps if you have a single one. If you have multiple, you can get it to produce over 100 amps. So what that does is during the day, if there is sunshine and there is no grid, your charge controllers are able to charge your batteries for you. So the major advantage is one, reduced time if you are on the grid or if you're connected to your gen to charge the batteries, and the ability to charge from an external source that does not have to be a generator. So that's the major difference between your inverter and your solar power inverter. I hope that answered it for you, and I hope that gave you a little bit more insight as to the major differences between inverters on solar and inverters on what you purchase in Nigeria. So again, this is Christopher with AWPS Renewable Energy, your source for home solar power and your source for your business solar power. Thank you for watching.